All right, I am back for a brand new DC update for you guys today, and this is going to be kind of interesting. All right, so as you could tell by the title, I've gotten some people riled up, and we're going to take a look at a comment somebody made in my latest video, and we're going to kind of analyze it a little bit. But before I get into the story about possibly getting sued, which I think is ridiculous, we're going to look at some of the pictures I've grabbed over the last 24 hours, and we're going to talk about a few things. All right, now I grabbed this just around lunchtime yesterday, shortly after I did my last video, but it says the Flash production designer Paul Asterberry believes the upcoming DC Studios film will make people forget about star Ezra Miller's crimes and legal issues. I highly doubt that. He might do an incredible performance in the film, but I know he's in treatment currently. He's getting treatment, and he's trying to get better. That's according to the studio. If you remember, there was all that commotion a while back, and they said that he was going to disappear basically from any of the promotions leading up to the film. They're just going to keep him in the background, hoping the film does well, and they're heavily promoting both Batmans in all of the marketing. And so, yeah, I don't think people are going to forget about that. He's still a criminal, and there are things that need to be dealt with. But the movie's done, and there's no way they're going to scrap it. So we're going to see how this ends up in the end, but I don't think people are going to forget. All right, now here's something interesting. Sil Abdul, who has a channel here on YouTube, him and another YouTuber, and I don't know this other guy's name, but they had a podcast yesterday. And this was something that was signed at the SnyderCon by Zack Snyder. And it says, hashtag Snyderverse, and Zack Snyder said, sell it. Now, they came out and admitted that they asked him to put that on there, okay? He didn't just put it on there himself. And we're going to talk about all of the firestorm that took place over Twitter and YouTube over this picture here. And I'm going to talk about what it really means here in just a little bit. So the next picture right here is James Gunn said that the DCU won't go into science or politics. He said that it will be 8 to 10 years of films about love. Now, that's kind of interesting. That's from an IO9 interview. I don't know how that said, that source. I've heard of that source before, but I don't know how you say it. But this could mean many things. When they say it's films about love, if they're going to inject a lot of political stuff out there about transgender people or female empowerment, making men look stupid, that kind of a thing, that's politics unto itself. And hopefully it truly is about films about, what people love and not about politics or science. That's not why people go to these movies to begin with. And I'm hoping that this statement is true. That remains to be seen. We will find out when these things start getting released, if they ever do get released. So the last picture I have here before we talk about some stuff is Zack Snyder said, thanks. He said, to all of the amazing sponsors, volunteers, and fans, thank you for your support at the Full Circle event this past weekend to raise awareness and funds for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Mental Health Awareness. That's what this whole event was about, guys. There are a lot of retractors out there and people who just hate the Snyderverse. They hate everything. They hate the fact that the event even took place. They hate all of it. In the end, this was about Zack Snyder and raising money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So it was a good cause. All the proceeds are going to that. Same from the shirts, and the shirts are still available. If you guys want a link to the shirt, let me know, and I can do that in an upcoming video. But those shirts are still available and are going to be available for a while. But he wanted to thank everybody for that event, which is pretty awesome. All right, so before I get into the big portion of this video, what I posted mainly about possibly getting sued, is the fact that that picture that Sil Abdul had posted. He's a really good guy. I've been watching some of his stuff for a while. Really nice guy. But he even came out and admitted that he asked Zack Snyder to write that. But their reasoning behind it is the fact that he wrote it without questioning it or saying, no, it's not going to happen. He actually put it on there, which means he does want it to happen, which is obvious. And here's the thing. I'm going to give a wrap up on my thoughts about all of this after I'm done talking about the next part I'm going to talk about. But there is no question that Zack Snyder wants to finish these two films. And if given the chance, he will finish it. okay? Now, I have personally never said he's going to finish it. I've never personally said it's definitively happening. I've never said anything like that because, again, I've made it very clear on my channel, I am not a scooper, okay? I don't get inside information that other people can't find themselves. I bring you guys all the pictures, all the news, the things that I can find that are scoured over the internet, and sometimes those things are going to be true and sometimes they're not. And I don't have control over that. I'm bringing you the news as it's presented on, throughout the internet and things that I find. They're not things that I created. They're things that I'm sharing, okay? And so people can't get mad at me personally, even though they do. And this is my channel. It's my review. I love the Snyderverse. I love, everything that came up until after Justice League. I loved all that stuff. I thought it was amazing. They should have just stayed the course. And I'm going to remain strong to that. And I will keep calling for the Snyderverse to be restored. And if other places don't like that, too bad. It's my channel. Go make your own channel. Go complain about it somewhere else, which is apparently something that is happening. So I'm going to share my screen here again, and we're going to look at something that I found very amusing today. So here is a comment that was posted about 3 hours ago from Luke something. Okay, I don't know this person. I have not clicked on their profile. I'm only going based on what they said here, and this is very interesting. He said, "Look, Mr. Fisher, I got some bad news for you. Have you checked out channels like Film Junkies?" And personally, no, I haven't. I don't watch Film Junkies. I've seen a few things that they do. I find those guys, them to be a little bit obnoxious at times. And he said, there are others. He said, did some research on some of the meetings and announcements of Discovery, James Gunn, and Warner Brothers. In all caps, there is no Snyderverse plans coming unless your definition of Snyderverse and the semi-lie about SnyderCon contains an actual new studio and producers that are going to produce Snyderverse, Justice League 2 and 3. It's hype bullcrap. Those other channels break down your comments, but also comments from other sources that said that Warner Brothers will have future plans for Snyderverse or for Snyder movies and Justice League 2 and 3 contain phony dates and possible names of producers, directors that are actually retired and left the industry and did not meet privately with any Warner Brothers executives. Why all this hype about SnyderCon? What's going on? If your definition of future Snyderverse projects contain comic books or small films outside major movie studios, nobody cares about that. This is not a resurfacing of the actual Snyderverse or Justice League 2 or 3. Where did you get the sources of your rumors? Stop this crap about the restoration of the Snyderverse. It contains phony facts and mentions names of people who did not do what you said. And now those people are getting fed up with you and 2 other channels. Don't get sued because I like your channel. No, I am not suing you, but others are starting to notice your channel, including Discovery and Zaslav. Capiche? Now, when I saw this, I laughed because he's making ridiculous statements here, okay? First of all, I never said any of these things were definitively happening. I never said anybody privately met with Warner Brothers. I said there were rumors that people privately met with Warner Brothers, but I didn't say that they actually happened. I said, time will bear these things out. I have never given phony dates and possible names of producers, directors, and people who have retired from the industry. I've never said anything about that. So how can these other sites be talking about my comments on that stuff? I just don't understand it. So here was my response. I said, now who is the one making stuff up? Show me anything that proves that Discovery and Zaslav even know who I am. And James Gunn, for that matter. I have not said anything that could get me into legal trouble. To quote you, and now those people are fed up with you and 2 other channels. Who exactly are those people? I don't care if other channels don't like my content. It's my channel, not theirs. Who are the others that are noticing my channel? LOL. You are just making stuff up. And I'm still waiting for them to respond to this because I would like some details. So for somebody to come in and make it sound like other channels are getting ready to sue me and that Discovery is getting ready to sue me, over what? What have I said that I said was definitive fact? Okay? I'm bringing you guys all the news, and I made it very clear that with the SnyderCon that I was hoping something big would be announced, but I wasn't expecting it. I've been let down too many times. Here's what I do know about the Snyderverse. I'm not giving up the push for it to be restored. Neither are other people. And Warner Brothers is going to suffer the consequences for not finishing the story. We've already seen it happen with Shazam, and it's going to suffer especially, probably Blue Beetle and also Aquaman. I think those movies aren't going to do very well. The only one that I think is going to do super well would be The Flash, and I don't even think it's going to make its money back. The budget was supposedly $220 million, plus I think they put into like $130 million in marketing or some crazy number, and they need to make twice that just to make their money back. I don't think this movie is making $800 million. I just don't. I'll be surprised if it does. The only thing that would get them there is the fact that Keaton is back as Batman, and people might want to see that. To me, it looks like it's Batman 3 with the Flash in it, pulling in a Flash from another timeline. But I'll be there to see that movie when it comes out. So I haven't said anything, and I want the Snyderverse to be restored. Zack Snyder wants it to be restored. He wants to finish his story, and he's willing to do it, and I guarantee you the actors would come back and oblige if that happens. Could it happen? It absolutely could. They could sell the IP, those rights, to finish that story to one of the streaming networks. It absolutely could happen, and I think it's a win-win for them because that streaming service would have to pay a lot of money for the licensing, and then they could share any profits that are made by those, that being released. Who knows if that is ever going to happen? I don't know, but I'm certainly going to push for it, and I think other people are. If you don't like it, you don't have to come to my channel, and I don't care if other people talk about me on their channel. It doesn't change what I'm going to do or who I am. I'm not going to just step in line just because other people want me to. Because I'll tell you what, back before Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, there were people, big people, all over the internet that said, never going to happen, doesn't exist, it's never going to come out, it's never going to come out. Even when it was being worked on, it's never going to happen, it's never going to come out. And it came out. People said that Zack Snyder has moved on. He has not moved on. He wants to finish his story, and he made that very clear during the SnyderCon. There are all these things that have happened that people said are just not true. So you want to talk about truth? It's not coming from me. It's coming from other people. So other channels maybe need to look at themselves and the content that they produce and not make false claims that they don't know. Because I'm not sitting here saying it's definitively going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm sure going to fight for it, and so are other people. So there's kind of my update for the day. I say, I don't care if people don't like my channel. I really don't. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. And once in a while, I'll pull things out from comments and show people stuff just to show you what's kind of being passed around. But I'm waiting for that person to respond because they've made some pretty big allegations that I would like to see them back up. It's not me making up stuff. It's them. So, all right. I will be back with more updates. I'm hoping to get an Indiana Jones and Star Wars update. I just may record all 3 of these videos today and get them up. But if anything else big happens with DC, I will be back later. Hopefully not today, because once I get my 3 videos out, that's it for the day. They will not promote anymore. So if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you will be notified as I have new videos go up, because other than that, you might miss something that I do produce. All right, I do appreciate it. We will see you guys on the next video.